Capricorn, there's a reason why you've stumbled upon this message right now. Not earlier, not later, but here, in this very moment. Something inside you, deep beneath the armor of logic and resilience, has been stirring. A subtle but persistent aching, like the whisper of something watching from the shadows. Like a chill on your skin with no wind in the room. A photo you lost. A name that keeps echoing in your dreams. A weight you can't explain, no matter how grounded and practical you try to stay. You've felt blocked, haven't you? Like every step forward is met with a wall that wasn't there before. Like your ambitions, so carefully constructed, keep dissolving just before they solidify. And worst of all, you've felt alone in it. Unseen. Unheard. But tonight, that veil lifts. Because this is not just another video. This is a ritual of truth. And you didn't find it by accident, you were guided here. Yes, you. The child of Saturn. The mountain climber who's been navigating invisible storms no one else could see. The one who's been gaslighted by fate itself. There's a hidden reason your progress has been blocked. And the universe is about to expose it, fully, mercilessly, and beautifully. This truth will be disturbing. It may even shake you. But you must stay. Because the person who caused your pain may not be a stranger. And the way they attacked you, it wasn't physical. It was spiritual. In the next hour, I will reveal why your name has been spoken at an altar built not in light, but in darkness. By two people bound by blood. And what they tried to steal from you, they are about to lose. Your only job now is to breathe, to listen, and to remember who you are. Because Capricorn, your power was never lost. It was only hidden. And tonight, we take it back. Stay with me. The truth begins, now. Part 1. The Hidden Forces, the Invisible War against Capricorn. Capricorn, you've always believed that if you work hard, stay disciplined, and remain patient, things will fall into place. That your life is like a staircase carved into the side of a cliff. One step at a time. No shortcuts. No excuses. But lately, hasn't it felt like someone's been moving the staircase while you climb it? You make progress and then suddenly, the job disappears. The relationship breaks for no reason. The money dries up without explanation. And worse than the circumstances is the confusion. The mental fog. You've asked yourself in silence. Did I do something wrong? Did I miscalculate something? Did I miss a sign? Let me speak directly to the truth your soul has already begun to sense. You are not cursed. But someone tried to curse your path. And no, it's not just in your head. The heaviness you feel in your chest, your bones, your back, that's not just stress. It's energetic resistance. A psychic interference designed to weigh you down just enough so you'd question your own light. What you've been experiencing is spiritual sabotage. There are forces, not from the heavens, but from wounded, bitter people in your orbit who have woven threads of envy, obsession, and even ritual manipulation around your energy field. And the reason it hit you so deeply is because they once knew you, and in some way, you trusted them. This is not random. This is not bad luck. This is a deliberate attempt to block a Capricorn's rise. And let me be clear, you were chosen as the target not because you're weak, but because you're destined to rise higher than they ever will. And they sensed it long before you did. This isn't just jealousy. It's energetic warfare disguised as silence. Disguised as absence. Disguised as passive-aggressive blessings whispered behind your back. Now, here's the thing about Capricorn that they always underestimate. You may be slow to notice. You may give people too many chances. But once you see the game, you never forget it. You feel it in your body, don't you? That twist in your gut when they enter a room. That sudden fatigue after a phone call. That off vibration that your logical mind tries to dismiss, but your spirit refuses to ignore. Because the truth is, they tried to tie you down without ropes. Tried to hex you without words. And they thought they could do it in the dark, where no one would notice. But they forgot something critical. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And Saturn is karma's accountant. Every action is recorded. Every seed planted is growing roots. So if you've been feeling like you're walking through invisible mud, if you wake up exhausted, even after a full night's sleep, if your plans keep collapsing at the last second, this is the part of the story where we stop calling it coincidence and start calling it what it truly is: spiritual interference. Because what's coming next, Capricorn, will shake you. And the names behind it. We're not far from the reveal. But first, we need to journey into the altar itself. Life Lesson, Part 1. Not every storm is meant to destroy you. Some are meant to reveal what was hiding in your clear skies. Capricorn, you've been asking the wrong question. You kept wondering, why is this happening to me? But the real question, the one Saturn whispers in silence, is, what is this trying to show you? The blocks in your life weren't random. They were spiritual mirrors, revealing people, patterns, and energies that no longer belong in your next chapter. And you're not here to be a victim of shadows. You're here to master the invisible realm, just as you've mastered the physical one. So remember this. When the world around you doesn't make sense, listen to the world within you. Because that's where Saturn left the map. Part 2, The Ritual and the Altars, when your photo became a spell. Capricorn, I need you to breathe. Because what I'm about to say may sound like fiction, but it's not. It's a spiritual reality that far too many people dismiss, until they feel it in their bones. And you felt it. There is a ritual that has been done. Not one of love, not one of light, but one that was constructed in shadows, built by envy, fueled by obsession, and held together by your photograph. Yes, your image. An altar was created, a sacred, but twisted space, and your energy was summoned into it without your permission. The two people behind this, they are bound by blood, a mother and daughter. And no, this isn't metaphor. This is literal. These women have been focusing their thoughts, emotions, and intentions not on their own lives, but on yours. They used your name in whispers. They spoke it over fire, over salt, over mirrors. And most chilling of all, they used your photo as a gateway, a portal between your essence and their will. This wasn't a random spell cast by strangers on the internet. This was personal, and it was rooted in deep, emotional entanglement. They may have once been close to you, or they may have been close to someone you loved. In their mind, you had something they couldn't control, maybe your presence, your confidence, your rise. And instead of confronting that jealousy, they chose to try to bind you spiritually. Capricorn, you might have noticed strange dreams where you felt watched. Waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., the spiritual hours. Missing items, keys, jewelry, small objects that felt sentimental. Those weren't coincidences. They were extractions. Pieces of your energy being siphoned to anchor a dark ritual. Now, let's be clear. These rituals are not all powerful. No spell is stronger than your will. But when enough pain is directed at one soul, and when that soul is as emotionally self-contained as Capricorn, the damage happens not because you believe in their power, but because you doubt your own. And that is exactly what they hoped for. They didn't want to destroy you. They wanted to delay you, to confuse you, to disconnect you from your own knowing. And that altar, it wasn't just made to attack. It was built to steal your clarity, your focus, your sense of direction, your ability to build, which is what Capricorn does best. Take their bricks away, they said to the spirits they called, and they'll never finish their tower. That was their intention. But here's the truth. They underestimated how high you were already climbing. They thought they were attacking your foundation. But what they didn't realize is that you had already become the mountain. Life Lesson, Part 2. When people can't reach your level, they try to pull you into theirs. Capricorn, this was never about you being weak. It was about you being too strong for their comfort. Your success, your growth, your ability to stand alone, it mirrored their insecurities. And instead of doing the inner work, they projected. But you've just uncovered one of the most sacred truths of spiritual power. Not everyone who smiles at you is harmless. And not every ritual is done in robes. Some are done in silence, in jealousy, in passive hatred. But now that you know, they hold no more power, because light doesn't destroy shadows, it reveals them, and once revealed, they cannot hide. If this part resonates with you, stay close, because in part 3, I will show you who these people truly are, and how the karmic web they spun is now wrapping around them. Part 3, the karmic web, who they are and why it's collapsing. Capricorn. They knew exactly what they were doing. This wasn't ignorance. This wasn't just bad energy. This was intentional spiritual sabotage, methodical, cold, and silent. The mother and daughter who bound your energy did so with full awareness of the impact. Not only did they whisper over your name, they cast nets of manipulation around the people connected to you. That's why relationships crumbled without reason. That's why trusted allies turned cold. That's why, even in your moments of effort and excellence, the results always seemed 1 inch out of reach. And now, the web they spun is turning inward. Because energy, whether spoken or silent, is never lost. It simply circulates until it finds its rightful home. What they sent out to stop you is now on its way back to them, faster than they ever imagined. Who are they? These aren't strangers. They're not dark witches in the forest. They're women who pretended to be supporters, maybe even family, or in-laws, or once close friends. At some point, they saw you shining too brightly. You made their daughter feel insecure. You made their son forget about them. You made their partner admire you. And in that moment, they crossed a line, the sacred line between envy and evil intent. They didn't just wish for you to fail. They participated in your delay. Some did it with rituals, others through gossip, some through energy manipulation, posing as helpers, coaches, or healers. But the result was the same. They attempted to interfere with your divine timeline. Why is it collapsing now? Because Capricorn's journey is governed by time. Saturn, your ruler, is the lord of karma, and he never forgets. And now, the clock has struck. This is your cosmic audit. The karmic web they constructed is now imploding, strand by strand, with surgical precision. They thought no one saw, but the universe always did. You may begin noticing. They're falling out with each other. Their secrets are surfacing. They are being exposed, not by you, but by the ripple of their own choices. And here's the beauty of Capricorn's karma. You don't have to lift a single finger. Saturn does the heavy lifting. The mountain doesn't chase the avalanche, it simply stands still while the ground shifts. They once used your image to trap you. But now, your name is being cleared by forces beyond comprehension. The very altar they built to confine you, it's now a stage upon which their own lessons will be displayed. And you're no longer the subject of their ritual. You're the witness of their return cycle. Life Lesson, Part 3. The karma you don't see is always the most precise. Capricorn, you've spent months, maybe years, trying to make sense of things that defied logic. Now you understand, not everything that harms you leaves a visible mark. But even the most invisible act leaves an energetic signature. And energy never forgets. You were not meant to retaliate. You were meant to witness. To stand in quiet truth as divine justice does what human confrontation never could. Let this be your deepest reminder. Your power lies not in revenge, but in resilience. In knowing that your silence isn't weakness, it's alignment. You never needed to scream your pain, because the universe was already writing your testimony. Part 4. Your Saturn shield, the divine protection you never saw. Capricorn. They thought you were alone, but you never were. While they whispered your name in the dark, your name was being spoken in higher realms, by ancestors who walk with you, by spirit guides who have guarded your path for lifetimes, and by Saturn, the ancient protector who never abandons his children. Yes, the weight you've carried was real. But do you know what else was real? The protection you didn't even realize was surrounding you the entire time. Every time you wanted to call that person back, but something held you back. Every time you were about to sign that deal, and your gut twisted. Every time your phone dropped, your car stalled, your meeting got cancelled. That wasn't bad luck. It was divine interference. It was your invisible team whispering, "Not this. Not now. Not them." You were protected not just by force, but by delay, discomfort, and disconnection. What looked like rejection was actually redirection. And your greatest shield, it wasn't outside of you. It wasn't sage or salt or spells. It was your discipline, your stillness, your ability to pause instead of react. That's what they couldn't understand. While others chase chaos, you choose silence. And in that silence, you heard things others ignored. You saw the subtle. You noticed the shifts in tone. You remembered what was said between the lines. Capricorn, your power has never been in noise. It has always been in observation. That's why their rituals failed. That's why their sabotage never fully worked. Because even though you didn't know exactly what was happening, your instinct refused to let it in. Your Saturn shield, forged from lifetimes of lessons, deflected the worst of it. They tried to bind your ambition, but your purpose was already rooted beneath their reach. They tried to poison your energy, but your body rejected it through fatigue, intuition, and sacred isolation. Even your loneliness wasn't punishment, it was protection. Life Lesson, Part 4. Silence is not weakness. Sometimes, it's the sound of protection doing its work. Capricorn, you were never truly abandoned. You were being pulled into a sacred space, away from interference, away from illusion, and into alignment. Your stillness was your sword. Your quiet intuition was your armor. And your detachment was a divine boundary, one that saved you from further harm. What others saw as coldness was actually spiritual intelligence. Let this part of your story remind you, you don't always need to fight back. Sometimes, standing still is the strongest move, because the mountain doesn't chase the wind. It lets the wind pass and remains. In the next part, we'll talk about how to cleanse what remains, the final threads of energy that are still lingering in your space. Because now that you know how you were protected, it's time to rise beyond it. Part 5. The Cleansing, How to Break the Last Spiritual Ties. Capricorn. Now that the truth has been revealed, now that the karmic web has begun to unravel, you are no longer just surviving the aftermath. You're being called to clear it. Fully. Permanently. Because even when the ritual is broken, residue can linger. Energetic dust. Invisible threads. Old echoes that still try to pull at your focus, your sleep, your emotions. These threads do not belong to you anymore. And this is the part of your journey where you take full command, not just spiritually, but physically. So what can you do? It doesn't require fear. It doesn't require revenge. It requires intention. The universe responds to clear, focused direction, and Capricorn excels at exactly that. Begin with this. Step 1. The Candle of Purity. Place a simple white candle in your space, no fragrance, no color. This isn't for decoration. This is a declaration. As you light it, say clearly, I call back all of my energy. I return what was never mine. I claim full sovereignty over my spirit. Let that flame burn for at least 15 minutes. Do it in silence. Let it burn while you focus, not on them, but on you. Step 2. Salt and Vinegar Cleanse. In a glass bowl, pour water. Add coarse sea salt and a splash of white vinegar. Place it near your door or in the center of your home. This mixture pulls in stagnant, intrusive energy like a magnet. You may notice the water turning cloudy within 24 hours. Dispose of it outside, away from your living space. Do this once a week for 3 weeks. It's not superstition. It's spiritual hygiene. Step 3. Lemon Threshold Blessing. Squeeze a fresh lemon into water. Using a clean cloth or your fingers, dab the mixture lightly on door frames, windowsills, and mirrors. Why? Because these are entry points for people, energy, and intention. This step is not about fear. It's about control. It's about telling the universe, only love, clarity, and alignment may enter here now. Capricorn, these actions are not woo. They are rituals of sovereignty. They ground your energy into the physical plane, anchoring your intention with earth itself, your element. You are not just a builder of things. You are a builder of space, inner and outer. And when your space is clear, you become undeniable. Life Lesson, Part 5. Clean energy builds clear destinies. You've done the hard part. You've endured the fog, the sabotage, the betrayal. Now is the time to reclaim the terrain of your life. This is not about burning bridges. This is about fortifying your foundation so that no shadow can walk in uninvited ever again. What was once stolen must now be returned. And what once delayed you must now dissolve. Let this be your declaration. I am no longer available for energetic theft. I am no longer open to hidden manipulation. My life is mine again, and I build from here. In the next part, we'll talk about what happens when they try to come back. Because they will. And when they do, you'll be ready. Part 6. The Return, How to Guard Your Energy When They Come Back. Capricorn. When the energy is cleansed. When the altar has collapsed. When the karmic scales have been balanced. They will try to return. Not because they've changed, but because they've felt the shift and they want access to what they can no longer reach. Their messages may seem innocent. Hey, just thinking about you. I've been meaning to apologize. I had a dream about you. They may show up in your DMs, on your doorstep, even inside the dreams they once haunted. But Capricorn, listen carefully. This is the final test before your full breakthrough. They're not always coming back with black candles and dark thoughts. No, this time, it's more subtle, more charming, more emotionally manipulative. They might cry, they might confess, they might even offer help. But remember what Saturn taught you. Intent is not measured by words, but by patterns. And patterns never lie. You may be tempted to give them one more chance. Because you're loyal. Because you're strong. Because part of you wants to believe people can change. And yes, people can change. But change without accountability is just performance. So how do you protect yourself? You don't build walls. You build filters. You don't live in fear. You live in clarity. You ask yourself, have they done their inner work, or are they just scared now that I've risen? Are they acknowledging their past actions, or minimizing them? Do I feel expanded in their presence, or drained? Your intuition already knows. And Capricorn, this time, you must trust it. Set clear boundaries. If they cross them, that's all the answer you need. Don't get pulled back into the spiral of explaining, justifying, or softening your truth. Because now you know. Your peace is sacred. And your energy is no longer up for negotiation. Life Lesson, Part 6. Forgiveness is a gift. Access is earned. Capricorn, you can forgive them. You can release them. You can send them love. But that doesn't mean you owe them entry. Just because someone regrets losing access to your life, doesn't mean they're ready to honor your space. Boundaries are not cruelty. They are clarity. And the stronger your boundaries, the clearer your energy becomes, and the more aligned your destiny unfolds. Let this be your mantra. I protect my energy, not out of fear, but out of reverence for the life I'm building. Part 7. Divine Fulfillment, the Rebirth of Capricorn. Capricorn, you've walked through shadows most would never survive. You've carried weights no one else could see. You've endured betrayals that tried to bury you in silence. But here you are, not broken, not bitter, but brilliantly reborn. What was meant to bind you, refined you. What was meant to delay you, trained you. What was meant to destroy you, delivered you. You are no longer the same person who began this journey. You are clearer, cleaner, sharper, wiser, and utterly unstoppable. The altar is no more. The rituals are broken. The karmic scales have done their work. Now begins the season of divine return. What was blocked will flow. What was hidden will be revealed. What was taken shall be restored tenfold. And not because of luck, but because of alignment. This is your time. Time to attract love that doesn't ask you to shrink. Time to claim financial abundance that matches your effort. Time to walk with a confidence that comes from the soul, not ego. Your ruling planet, Saturn, has tested you. But now, he honors you. The mountain you were climbing, it wasn't outside of you. It was you. And now, you stand at the summit. Not just higher, but wiser. Life lesson, conclusion. Your healing is not just yours. It is ancestral. It is collective. It is sacred. Capricorn, by rising, you didn't just liberate yourself. You broke generational chains. You ended spiritual contracts. You rewrote the story for every future version of you. You didn't come here to fit in. You came to break the mold. To show the world what happens when grounded power meets divine timing. This is your legacy now. Stillness over reaction. Boundaries over chaos. Purpose over performance. And truth over everything. So I ask you now, if this journey spoke to your soul, if you felt the shift deep inside, then comment below. I claim my rebirth. Let the universe hear you. And if you are ready to unlock even more truths written in your stars, click that subscribe button. Join us here at Zodiac Secrets Revealed, where the wisdom of your sign is never watered down, but fully honored, explored, and awakened. Your story doesn't end here. It begins again. This time, on your terms.